Praise the Lord. Praise the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And we are here to keep his Sabbath. We're keeping his Sabbath holy. This is a commandment in the Bible. This is what we're supposed to do. But 9 times out of 10, people aren't teaching it. So what we're going to do is read this Bible today so we can learn something. Now, I put this lesson together about 2 weeks ago, and it's interesting how the Spirit moves in the camps. Like Elijah's lesson was kind of similar to this, and Bowie's lesson was kind of similar this morning. So this lesson is really the significance of Israel and how it relates to the Great Tribulation. And the reason I put this lesson together was because I dealt with some people, well, I won't burn them out, but they have this church that they keep the Sabbath, they keep the feast days, but they believe it's a mother God, and they believe the second coming of Christ has happened already, and it was a South Korean who was actually Christ, and the dude died. So how's the second coming of Christ going to happen, and all this stuff that has to happen what Jesus is talking about in the Bible, and yet this dude's second coming ain't nothing happened. So I was sitting there going, okay, while I was dealing with him, it was me and my wife to be, and it was 3 of those cats. So after I left there, I said, okay, I need to put together a lesson. Now, this is called the Eye of the Storm, and this is the introduction. What I'm going to do is introduce you to the people that's involved in the Great Tribulation. That way, next month, when I drop you inside of the tornado and the hurricane, we're going to watch the IMAX. So this right here is just to kind of catch you up to speed. Not saying y'all not up to speed, but I don't want to lose anybody. So this is what we're going to do. So let's get it started. Enough of me flapping. Let's go to Exodus 3. In the modern day sun worship realm, people will tell you Israel's not important. They've been done away with. And throughout this Bible, from Genesis to Malachi and Malachi to Revelation, all he's talking about is his people. All he's talking about is Israel. Granted, everyone can have salvation. Salvation is for everyone because our God is a God of creation of everything, heaven and earth, everything. So we can't say that, oh, it's only for Israel. But what I'm dealing with right now is the fact that people just want to just push Israel out the way. And it's just not so. It's very important to his people. So let me give you a little background. All right, Israel was in captivity inside of Egypt for 430 years, as prophesied to Abraham, okay? But because God made a covenant with Abraham to bless the entire world through his people, his descendants, they had to be brought out of captivity. What I want you guys to glean is how they were actually brought out of captivity. What had to happen before he brought them, he meaning God, the Almighty, brought them out of Egypt with a strong hand. Let's go to Exodus 3, and when you get there, brother, read 6 through 10. This is the Horeb Commission. This is when he sent Moses back to get his people. Notice what he's saying. Go ahead, bro.
Moreover, he said, I am the God of thy father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob.
Stop. Did he say he was the God of the Romans? Did he say he was the God of the Koreans? Go ahead, bro.
And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon God.
Wise thing. Go ahead.
And the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrow.
Stop. He said he's seen the affliction of the people, and he have heard their cries. So he saw the affliction of what they was going through because they were in slavery, and he heard their cries. So that means that, the people must have cried out to their God. Very important. Verse 8. Pay very close attention to verse 8. Go ahead.
And I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of the land unto a good land, and a large, and unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites.
So we see a part of this promise, or part of what they're going to get is this land, the land of the Canaanites, okay, which we know as Hamites when you go through the table of nations. Verse 9.
Now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel is come unto me, and I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppressed them.
Again, we see oppression, we see affliction, and we see they heard their cry. Go ahead, bro.
Come now, therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt.
Notice he said his people are the children of Israel. Let's move over to Exodus 4. Go right into Exodus 4. This is Moses' mission directive. Anytime you go on a mission, if you're in the military, they give you a mission directive. Now let's see what Moses' mission directive was from God Almighty. Starting at verse 21. All right, come on, man. Give it to him.
And the Lord said unto Moses, when thou goest to return into Egypt, see that thou do all those wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in thine hand. But I will harden his heart, that he shall not let the people go. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus saith the Lord, Israel my son, even my firstborn.
Stop. Israel my son, even my firstborn. Go ahead, bruh.
And I say unto thee, let my son go, that he may serve me. And if thou refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay thy son, even thy firstborn.
So the importance of this is Israel is his firstborn. It is his son. And he said, if you don't let my son go, I'm going to take your firstborn. So automatically when Moses comes into Egypt, the first thing out of his mouth is, thus saith the Lord, let my people go, or I will kill your firstborn, because he is my firstborn. Now, we all know that the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he didn't listen to that whole thing because he had to show great wonders and miracles. But if you pay attention, the same miracles and the same great hand in which he brought the children of Israel out of Egypt is the same thing that's going to happen when he brings us out of captivity back to our land. Because remember, it's a good land that flows with milk and honey, but we don't have our land. Now, let's go to Exodus 19. Because after he brought Israel out, because remember, his son was supposed to serve him. Unfortunately, well, that's why we over here speaking English, huh? Because we just don't listen. Hard-headed people, stiff-necked. And you'd be amazed. You'd be amazed. Exodus 19. This is the intended result. This is why he brought his firstborn out. I want you guys to glean out the reason what his people were supposed to do, what we are supposed to do as his firstborn, by the way. Now you realize in every culture, the firstborn gets the inheritance. So pay attention to that too. Exodus 19, starting in verse 3. Come on.
And Moses went up unto God, and the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, thus shalt thou say unto the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation.
Stop. He said a kingdom of priests. So if the whole kingdom is supposed to be priests, then priests are supposed to teach someone. Period. End of story. Keep going, bruh.
These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel.
Now he said a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. So a holy nation is supposed to be set apart from everyone, correct? That's right. Let's go to Leviticus 20 real quick. One verse, very tactical. I want y'all to see how God feels about his people. And I don't understand how come in the mainstream churches, they're not teaching this. They're not teaching about Israel. I have an idea, but I'm not going to bear false witness. I'll give my opinion, but I ain't going to bear false witness. Leviticus 20, verse 26. Again, the Lord reiterates how the children of Israel were supposed to be a holy nation. Leviticus 20, verse 26. Go ahead, bruh.
And ye shall be holy unto me, for I the Lord am holy, and have severed you from other people, that ye should be mine.
Now he said, you should be mine. That's what a husband would say to his wife. So now we see another dynamic to the whole thing. Remember, I'm just taking y'all slow to this thing. So next month, we're going to be in the eye of the storm for real. Let's go to Deuteronomy, and we're going to see the warning before going into the land. Let me catch you up to speed. Israel, they sent out 12 spies into the land, right? The 12 spies went all the way down from, I would say, Jerusalem all the way up to Samaria, came back. Only 2 brothers gave a good report, Joshua and Caleb. They had heart. They was like, let's go. The other brothers, they cowered down and had a false report amongst the people. So what happened was God said, all right, y'all want to have a false report? Y'all just saw what I did with the Red Sea. Y'all just saw what I did when I took you out of Egypt. You supposed to be on the team. You supposed to be ready to go. But what happened? the people cried, the people complained, as we so often do. So they were cursed to wander for 40 years. So an entire generation was wiped out because God got tired of listening to them just whine. Now, after the 40 years of wandering, before we go into the land, this is the warning. Deuteronomy 28. Let's go 1 and 2, and then we're going to skip around. Come on.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Stop. Why wouldn't he want to set his firstborn, his only begotten, his firstborn, his son, on high above all nations? Why wouldn't he want to do that? Verse 2.
And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Now, here's an interesting thing. I have friends, I have a buddy of mine who used to be my producer when I did music, and his father is a so-called Jew. Now, these are, this is my peoples. I went to his mother's funeral, and they had an interesting funeral. It was a whole bunch of rabbis, and they were standing around and doing their thing. But feel what I'm saying here. So me and the rabbi, so-called rabbi, we get back to the house for the repast and whatnot, and it's just me and him. And I wait for the right opportunity because I'm just not going to sling a sledgehammer at him at a funeral. That's like some cold stuff. So me and the rabbi was talking, and I said, yeah, I turned the conversation around. I said, yeah, I'm a part of the original sons of Jacob, the bloodline, the descendants of Jacob. And you know what he said to me? He said, the hidden ones. Now, my question to you is, when you go to these so-called Jews to learn all the stuff of our culture, they know who you are, but they ain't gonna tell you who you are. Now, how come if the so-called Jew is the real Jew, how come he is not telling the whole world about the curses and the blessings? Why isn't he doing that? But yet and still everybody want to run to them and learn how to become a so-called Hebrew or so-called Jew from them. That's like a police going to the robber to learn how to be a police. It's crazy. Let's skip down to verse 15, because we all know we didn't get the blessings. We all know that. That's why we sitting over here in all the places we sitting in, and it's hard on us. So let's skip down to verse 15 and see what we did get. Go ahead, bruh.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Wait, he said that if maybe you do what I say do, it's kind of cool and I ain't really tripping? He said, all these curses shall come upon thee. Skip to 45, because we all know the curses, and I'm not going to beat a dead horse with the curses. That's for another lesson. But what I'm trying to show you is the Lord knew that these curses were going to come upon the children of Israel. He knew. Skip down to verse 45, drop it on them. Come on.
Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee.
Verse 46, come on.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
Stop. He said a sign and a wonder. So when I went to my man's funeral, okay, and his rabbi was there, they shouldn't have, first of all, okay, let me slow it down. They live, let me see, he has a house in Eagle Rock. His house is about $2 million. He has a business. So what I'm saying to you is, if you go back through the curses and you read all through the curses, we know who that fits. It does not fit the so-called Jew. Read it again, brother. 46.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
A sign and a wonder points to something. And if it's supposed to be on your seed forever, then it's supposed to be on your seed forever. And you're supposed to be able to identify who these people are throughout history and time. Skip to 64. This is what I want you guys to grasp. 64 is the cusp. Come on.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
Scatter thee among all nations. So everywhere you look in the world, there should be somebody that looks somewhat like somebody in this audience, and they should be oppressed, and they should be crushed always. There should be, on a whole, as a nation, I'm gonna give it to you like this. I was watching this brother, it was a brother he was talking about. It was a jazz thing by Ken Burns. And they said if they wanted to give reparations to all the black people, this government could afford to give us $1 million apiece. Now, let's do the numbers. It's 350 million people in this country. We're 10% of the population, so that's roughly about 35 million. So if they gave 35 million people $1 million, that's $1.3 billion. Our deficit stands at $14 trillion. So 1.3 in relation to $14 trillion is nothing. Here's the point. Scatter among all nations, and you're going to be oppressed, crushed all way, and no man will buy you, including reparations. You guys everyone in here is a descendant of a slave in some way, shape, or fashion. Now, let's go to Deuteronomy 29. Remember, when the Bible was written, it didn't have any quotation marks, no commas, no nothing, no paragraphs. So from 28 all the way into 29, let me show you something. Deuteronomy 29, we're going to read one verse, verse 21. And this is the prophecy of the desolation of Jerusalem before the 70 weeks of Jeremiah. This is prophesied that's what's going to happen to the children of Israel and the land. 21. Go ahead, bro.
And the Lord shall separate him unto evil out of all the tribes of Israel, according to all the curses of the covenant that are written in this book of the law.
Stop. Notice the curses and the covenant inside the covenant are intertwined. They're connected. Skip down to 26. Let's see the reason why. Go ahead.
But they went and served other gods and worshiped them, gods whom they knew not and whom he had not given unto them. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against this land to bring upon it all the curses that are written in this book.
Some of the curses?
All of the curses.
Come on, verse 28. Come on.
And the Lord rooted them out of their land in anger and in wrath and in great indignation, and cast them into another land as it is this day.
As it is to this day. Cast them out of their land in wrath and great indignation. Let's go to Deuteronomy 30. Now, this is for future generations. Remember, all this is taking place before the children of Israel go into the land. This is some good stuff, and we all should take heed. But what I want you guys to understand, the future generations, I want you to see the correlation between what has to take place and what has to happen for the Great Tribulation to happen. He gave it to you right here. Deuteronomy 30, let's go 1 through 3. Deuteronomy 30, 1 through 3. Come on, man. Drop it on them.
And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations.
Stop. You shall call them to mind among all the nations. So every so-called Jew you see, the first thing out of their mouth should be, hey, you know that we were scattered all over the world and we had these curses and these blessings. That should be the first thing out of their mouth. Why are they not teaching that? If they're the people of this book, why are they not teaching this? Go ahead, bruh.
Whither the Lord thy God hath driven thee, and shall return unto the Lord thy God, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children.
Stop. So the second thing is, you everywhere you go, you're supposed to teach the curses and the blessings. Then you're supposed to obey God, return to God, and obey him with all of your might. You and your children. Then what's going to happen, bruh? Verse 3.
That then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity, and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whither the Lord thy God hath scattered thee.
Wait, did he say the United Nations is going to come and get you out of Europe in 1947?
No, sir. The Lord thy God will turn thy captivity.
Then what?
And have compassion upon thee.
Then what?
And will return and gather thee from all the nations, whither the Lord thy God hath scattered thee.
Now, does that sound exactly like what happened in Exodus when he took the children of Israel out of Egypt? Sounds like the same exact thing. He heard their cry. He saw their affliction. Guess what? They cried out to him, and he sent Moses to come get him. This time he says, Moses is telling them that the Lord will come and personally get you. Now, let's recap Moses. So the curses and the blessings happened to Israel for disobedience. We are removed from the land of Israel in wrath and fury by God, scattered across the world, not just one continent, but across the world, and locked into a perpetual, hard, disgraceful bondage. Number 3, we awake and then sound the alarm about the curses and the blessings, thereby bringing them to the attention of everyone in the world. So everyone in the world should know about the curses and the blessings. Why? Because they point to the children of Israel. Number 4, we turn to our God, us and the children, the new generations, and obey him and be the priest nation to the world. What did he say? He said, I saw the affliction. And he said, you have to, in verse 30, he said, and you obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day. So naturally, if you're obeying what he says with all your heart, you're teaching. Me and Brother Lee, we went on a lesson this week, and we sat down for 3 hours with some brothers in a barbershop, and Brother Lee is phenomenal. All I did was read for the brother. He's phenomenal. And at the end of the lesson, I get chills thinking about it because it's the same thing that I felt. The brother said, I'm not even mad at white people no more. It all makes sense now. Praise God, man. Amen. Be the priest nation we supposed to be. Number 5, then the Lord himself personally shall return in power and great glory to personally gather us from the captivity and permanently remove all curses from us and our children, hence the second coming. That's the conditions. So now that we know this, we know the background, let's see how the tribulation is going to begin. Let's go to Matthew 24. Because it's just a precursor. I was just going to drop y'all in the middle of the first seal with the hurricane and the typhoon, but I was like, I ain't going to do that yet. I got to give them some background. Because when I learned, I wasn't just dropped in there. Well, we were just dropped in there. We was thrown in the deep end. When you get with Boo, he throw you in the deep end, Jack. Oh, you sink. But I'm taking it easy on y'all. Matthew 24, and we're going to go 3 through 15. Now remember, he said, I'm going to raise up a prophet like unto Moses. His voice you will hear. Jesus is that prophet like unto Moses. If you notice the correlations between their lives, I'm not going to go into all that. I'll go into one. Moses was in Pharaoh's house as Pharaoh's grandson. Mary, Joseph, and Jesus was sent to Egypt to hide, amongst a nation that looks like, Mike Tyson and, I can name a whole lot of people, but so it's other correlations between Jesus and Moses, and, we can deal with that in question and answer, but we're going to see the recap of what, we're going to see the recap just like Deuteronomy, but this is coming out of Jesus' mouth. That's what I'm saying. Starting in verse 3. Come on, man.
And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be?
Stop. Now, they're going to ask him to tell them about 2 important things. I want you to glean these last 2 things out. Go ahead and read, bruh.
And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?
So we're talking about the sign of his coming and then the end of the world. Now, let's just roll it. Verse 4, bruh. Go ahead.
And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you.
First thing he said, don't believe that some dude from South Korea is the second coming of Christ. Don't believe it. Go ahead, bro. Verse 5.
For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many.
Come on.
And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
Come on.
For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrow.
Stop. So if you look at the news, you look at what's going on in the world, I don't even got to say it. You already know. But guess what? This is just the beginning of sorrows. This is the beginning of sorrows. Now let's see phase 2. Now this is a double entendre because this happened at that time leading up to 70 AD, and this is going to happen in the future. Remember, this is a double entendre. Verse 9, come on.
Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
That's an interesting thing. You're going to be hated of all nations for the name of Jesus. Go ahead, bro. Come on.
And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another.
Come on.
And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many.
Stop. So now you got the second wave of false prophets coming in trying to tell you it's all good. Don't worry. There's a rapture. You're going to be saved from it. You saved right now. The law is dead. Give me some money. Give me some. Oh, sorry. I just turned into one of the dudes real quick. Go ahead, bruh. Verse 12. Come on.
And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
But what?
But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved.
Verse 14. Pay attention. Come on.
And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come.
Now you should ask yourself, what gospel is he talking about? The true gospel. This book right here. Remember, once the children of Israel wake up and start talking about the blessings and the curses and return to him and keep the law, statutes, and judgments, us and our children, we're going to teach the world. And this gospel. And then shall the end come. Now, what's the first step to the end? Verse 15.
When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand.
Now, first thing out of my mouth, when I heard abomination of desolation, I was like, who is that? And what is that? Or is that a what? Is that a who? What? Now, he said Daniel, right? So now let's kill something else. The Old Testament is done away with. It's all fulfilled. Well, why is Jesus telling you about something that's going to happen in the future, and you should look to the past to explain it? Now, also think about this. If this is Antiochus Epiphanes, by the way, Antiochus Epiphanes happened way before Jesus, why would we even think this is about Antiochus Epiphanes? This is not. This is about the future. This is about a man. Let's go to Daniel, man. I'm trying not to get hyped. I'm trying to be cool. Daniel 11. Let me show you who the abomination of desolation is. Because he has a couple of different names, and I'm just giving you the introduction to the dude, so when we get into the lesson, you will know exactly who and what his job is and what he's supposed to do. Daniel 11, starting at verse 29. Daniel 11, starting at verse 29. And I want you to pay attention to what this dude does and what he is talking against. All right, brother, go ahead.
At the time appointed, he shall return and come toward the south, but it shall not be as the former or as the latter.
Come on.
For the ships of Chittim shall come against him. Therefore he shall be grieved and return and have indignation against the holy covenant.
Stop. He has indignation against the holy covenant. So by natural extension, anybody that's keeping the holy covenant, he's going to have indignation against them. Wake up. You're not going to get saved from this. You're going to go through this. And I hope you're prepared. Go ahead, bro. Keep reading.
So shall he do. He shall even return and have intelligence with them that forsake the holy covenant.
Whoa, come on.
And arms shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice, and they shall place the abomination that maketh desolate.
Now, this is really interesting right here. So it says arms, meaning an army shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength. So what's the sanctuary of strength? They shall take away the daily sacrifice. What's that? But we see this army is placing the abomination that maketh desolate per what Jesus just told. So now let's get a little understanding of the sanctuary of strength, the daily sacrifice, and that is the place and the thing. Okay, the sanctuary of strength is the place, and the daily sacrifice is the thing. And we're going to get some understanding of the abomination of desolation, and I'm going to give you its other names. The little horn, the false prophet, the man of sin, and the son of perdition, and the king of a fierce countenance. So he has 5 other names that he goes by. So when you see those, know it's interchangeable and know who you're dealing with. Now let's have Paul tell you real clear what the sanctuary of strength is, the daily sacrifice, and who the man of sin and the son of perdition is. 2 Thessalonians. And this is just a little light workout. It's a light workout. Second Thessalonians. Y'all with me, right? He didn't put y'all to sleep, right? I bet. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. And we're going to let Paul tell you exactly what everything is. That way I ain't got to do too much of this. 2 Thessalonians 2. Go ahead and read, bruh.
That ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as that the day of Christ is at hand.
Stop. He's talking about the day of the Lord when he says the day of Christ. Go ahead, bruh.
Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
The man of sin and the son of perdition, two of his names. And what does he do? Verse 4.
Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
Y'all didn't understand that. Read that again. Verse 4.
Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
So apparently the sanctuary of strength would be inside of a temple. And what happens inside the sanctuary? Back, you can read this in Leviticus 4, 5, and 6. There's a daily sacrifice that took place for all different types of things. What you guys don't understand is this, and you can look this up. Don't take my word for it. There is this place called the Temple Institute. Go online and look it up. Right now, they have blueprints, and they are actually trying to rebuild Solomon's temple for a third time. The so-called Jew is trying to build a temple to perform a daily sacrifice in. This is the location where the man of sin, who after this lesson you're going to have a better idea who he is going to sit in, stop, and say that he is God. Now, hopefully you guys understand who the abomination of desolation is, the man of sin, which is another name he has, and the son of perdition. Hopefully you get that. But we're going to read some more Daniel. Let's go back to Daniel, where Jesus told us to go to, because he wrote this book. He dictated this book to all these men so we could save ourselves. And if we don't save ourselves, you ain't got nobody to blame but you. Go to Daniel 11, because I can't save you. I can't regulate your behavior. All I can do is read the book, have his brother read the book, break some stuff down, and keep the law myself and save myself. That is mission directive number 1. Now, we're going to go back and we're going to see again another snapshot of the abomination of desolation, or the man of sin, or the king with a fierce countenance. And let's see what he does, and let's see if it correlates with 2 Thessalonians. Daniel 11, let's go 36 and 37, real tactical, 2 verses. Go ahead, bro.
And the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every God.
Sound familiar? That's what we just read, wasn't it? Go ahead, bro.
And shall speak marvelous things against the God of God.
And what?
And shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished. For that is determined shall be done.
For that is determined shall be done. The indignation is the valley of Jehoshaphat. It is the abomination of desolation bringing the great tribulation upon Jacob. Why? Because he has indignation against the holy covenant and those that follow the holy covenant. Y'all better wake up. There is no rapture. God is not going to come and save you before all this stuff happens. As a matter of fact, when we was reading Matthew 24, do y'all remember Jesus saying anything about, but before everything will come, I will wisp you away to a land or back to heaven and save you from it all. No, he said, and then shall the end come, and then there will be great. We're going to read the book, man. I'm getting too excited. Let's go to Daniel 7. 37, my bad. Go ahead.
Neither shall he regard the God of his fathers, nor the desire of women, nor regard any God, for he shall magnify himself above all.
Now, here's a clue. It says he will not have the desire of women. Now, I'm going to ask you this question. I'm not going to even say who it is. What religion tells you that the priest cannot have a wife? Whoever sits in that office as the vicar of Christ, okay, then that is the person, vicarious filii Dei. Whoever sits in the office of vicarious filii Dei and says that I don't need a woman, well, when the book says the priest can have a woman, they can have a wife, that's in direct contradiction to the laws of God. Again, he will have indignation against the holy covenant. Use your brains. Now, let's go to Daniel 7. Because, see, now we see the son of perdition. We see the king of fierce countenance. Now we're going to see another one of his names, a.k.a. the little horn. And I'm not going to go into the beast and everything else. I'm going to save that for next time. Right now, we're just dealing with the main player. I'm taking you all the way from the temple being built, daily sacrifice, up to the first seal, or the first year, or the first 6 months of the Great Tribulation. Daniel 7. This is the little horn, a.k.a. the little horn. We're going to go to verse 8. We're going to go to verse 8, then we're going to skip down to 20 through 21. Daniel 7, verse 8. Go ahead, bruh.
I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots.
Stop. That's the Ostrogoth, the Uri, and the Vandals. The Pope smashed on all these cats, but this is during the Dark Ages, but I'll save that for next time. Go ahead, bruh.
And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and the mouth speaking great things.
Notice those other horns did not have eyes or a mouth. And remember, he was speaking great things, and he's speaking blasphemy against the God of gods. Skip down to 20, bruh. Come on.
And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell.
Stop again. The Ostrogoths, the Vandals, and the Uri. Go ahead.
Even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows, I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints, and prevailed against them.
Oh, he made war with the saints and prevailed. Prevail means win, just in case you didn't know that. So if you a saint, you call yourself a saint, you call yourself a person that keeps the law, statutes, and judgments, yeah, he's going to come for you, and he will prevail against you if it's the Most High's will. Let's skip down to 25. Let's see what this same little horn was doing. And notice the correlation between 2 Thessalonians. Go ahead, bruh.
And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. And they shall be given into his hand until a time, and the times, and the dividing of time.
Now, let's deal with the changed times and laws. Why do you think the whole world thinks that a new day starts at 12:01 instead of at evening? Okay. Now, let's deal with times, which is single, times, plural, and a dividing of times, which is half of 1. That is 3.5. So we're talking about the Great Tribulation lasting for 1,260 days, 42 months, or 3.5 years, if you just want to just call it in years. Now, let's go to Daniel 8, and let's see again the little horn, what he does, and how long he does it. Because remember, this is the first seal. Once this guy stands in the temple saying that he is God, it's a wrap. It's over. It's time to bounce. Or it's time to gird yourself up like a man. Like the Lord told Job, go gird yourself like a man, Jack. All right, Daniel 8, and let's start at verse 9. Let's see let's see the little horn again. Not my man, let's see the little horn again and what he does. And for how long. Go ahead, bro, verse 9.
And out of one of them came forth a little horn, which waxed exceeding great, toward the south and toward the east and toward the pleasant land.
Pleasant land is Israel. Keep going.
And it waxed great even to the host of heaven, and it cast down some of the hosts and of the stars to the ground and stamped upon them.
He's talking crazy against God. He's talking crazy against anything that's holy. Go ahead.
Yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host.
Come on.
And by him the daily sacrifice was taken away.
Come on.
And the place of his sanctuary was cast down.
Come on.
And an host was given him against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgression.
And what?
And it cast down the truth to the ground, and it practiced and prospered.
It practiced and prospered. Remember, it said, arms will stand on his part, and they shall place the abomination and make it desolate. It says in verse 12, a host was given. A host and arms is the same thing. It's an army. This man has an army. Not only is he a king, but he has military power also. But he shares that power with the beast. And again, I'm not going to introduce the beast to you till next time. Let's go finish it out. Come on.
Then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto that certain saint which spake, how long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice?
Come on.
And the transgression of desolation?
To what?
To give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden under foot.
Come on.
And he said unto me, unto 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed.
So now we got another number, 2,300 days. 2,300 days, if you divide it by 365, is 6.3 years. So everything is going to take place within a 6.3 year time span. We all know that the Great Tribulation is only 3.5 years. Now that 1,010 days out of that 2,300 is animal sacrifice taking place. That's the time when the so-called Jews will be doing a morning and an evening oblation with the so-called Levites. I don't know. And here's another interesting thing now that I'm thinking about it. Okay, so They say they're Jews, but if you go to them and ask them what tribe you're from, they have no idea. You can ask a lawyer, you can ask a doctor, you can ask anyone, and they will not have one single idea what tribe they are from. But you guys know that you are the chosen people. You guys have all the archives of everything, but you don't know what tribe you're from. How come Ezra and Nehemiah, who came out of captivity, knew it was 46,000 brothers, what tribe they came from, and what city that their parents lived in? But y'all don't know? Food for thought, people. Let's skip down to 16 and let Gabriel explain what this vision is all about. Go ahead, bruh.
And I heard a man's voice between the banks of Uli, which called and said, Gabriel, make this man to understand the vision.
Come on. Keep going. Oh, so I'm sorry. Skip down to verse 23. I'm sorry.
And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding, dark sentences shall stand up.
Dark sentences is dark witchcraft knowledge. He knows dark knowledge. And remember, it says he will practice and prosper in this dark knowledge. And then the whole world is going to be practicing this dark knowledge. And if you're not practicing this dark knowledge when this time frame happens, guess what? He's going to make war with you and overcome you. Verse 24, come on.
And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. And he shall destroy wonderfully.
Come on.
And shall prosper in practice.
Come on.
And shall destroy the mighty and the holy people.
Hey, mighty and holy people, he's going to destroy you. Go ahead, verse 25.
And through his policy, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand.
Witchcraft, come on.
And he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand.
Remember that vision where that stone got cast on those 10 toes and it broke everything down? Yep, that's it. But that's a whole nother, that's for the other part. Now, we have an understanding who the abomination of desolation is, the man of sin, the little horn, the son of perdition. So now we know who he is. Let's go back to Jesus in Matthew 24, because remember, I'm taking you guys play by play right now to the first 6 months of tribulation. Matthew 24, we're going to start reading at 16. Because now the abomination of desolation has stood in the holy place. But watch what Jesus says at this time, right after the abomination of desolation does his thizzle. It's going to blow your wig. Hopefully you might have considered it before, but if you haven't, that's why you're sitting here on the Sabbath, to learn. Not to talk, not to have no good time, to learn how to save yourself from the abomination of desolation. Verse 16. Go ahead, bruh.
Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house.
Come on.
Neither let him which is in the field return back to his clothes.
Come on.
And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day.
So here's the question. What flight is he talking about and where to? Why is he saying, how come after the abomination of desolation steps up into place, right before our hell breaks loose, he's telling you, you better run someplace. You better run. You better get out of Dodge. And I hope you ain't got no baby. And I hope you ain't got no young kid. And here's food for thought. If the Sabbath is done away with, or Jesus knew that the Sabbath was going to be done away with in the future, why is he talking about a future event and saying that I hope you don't have to run on the Sabbath? Food for thought. So let's see the flight he's talking about. Let's go to Revelation 12. This is the flight of the church. There's a place that's prepared for the church to go to. And if you read this book, you know where to go to because you're going to see it. You're going to see it in real life, on the news, I would dare say. And I stand by that. Revelation 12. And what I did was I just stuck to the parts that dealt specifically with the woman or the church. Bowie covered in the Song of Solomon this morning about the woman. So now you guys will understand exactly, based on him, praise the Most High for giving him that lesson, who the woman is and what the woman is going to do. Revelation 12, let's go 1 through 2 and skip down to 5 and 6. Revelation 12, starting at verse 1. Go ahead, bruh.
And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Stop.
If you go back to Genesis 37, 9 through 10 on your own, you'll understand what's going on. That's a dream that Joseph had. Right. That's a dream Joseph had, and his dad and his mom and his 11 brothers, and they was all bound down to him. And that's an analogy for the church, or should I say a metaphor for the church. Verse 2, pay attention to what she's about to do. And remember, Jesus said, and I hope you're not with child or giving suck. Verse 2, go ahead, bruh.
And she being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered.
Skip down to verse 5. Go ahead.
And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto God and to his throne.
Now, I hope I don't got to tell you who the child is. The child is none other than Jesus. Now, verse 6. Here's the important thing. Verse 6. Go ahead, bruh.
And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days.
1,260 days. So, this woman gave birth. She was with child. She had to flee. That's an interesting correlation to what Jesus said. She hits the wilderness, but notice it says a place prepared of her by God. She has a place where she can go when it's time to run. That's prepared for her by God. Now let's skip down to 14. Verse 14. Go ahead, bruh.
And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place.
Stop. Into what place?
Into her place.
So this place is her place, right? Go ahead and read.
Where she is nourished for a time, and times and a half time from the face of the serpent.
So we just seen 1,260. We just seen 3.5 again. What I want you guys to remember, he said she was given 2 wings of a great eagle. Remember in Exodus, he said, how I bear you on eagle's wings and bring you to myself. Correlations all through the Bible, man. There's nothing older. There's nothing new under the sun in this book. Verse 15. Come on.
And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood.
The flood is an army. Remember, arms stand on his part, and they place, and a host was given. Verse, keep going, bro.
And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth.
Now, if you guys think back to Numbers when Kohath and them start tripping on Moses, and they were saying, well, you shouldn't have all these duties. We should have some duties too. So the Lord prayed to Moses. Moses prayed to the Lord, and the Lord told him, look, have all the brothers of Kohath come on out, them, and separate yourself from them. And guess what happened? Long story short, the earth opened up and swallowed them. So we serve a God who controls the earth. In my mind, I'm thinking when the earth helped a woman to swallow up a flood, I'm thinking an earthquake just like Kohath. That remains to be seen. Verse 17, come on.
And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed.
Which do what?
Which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ.
Wait a minute. Not only just the Old Testament, but both Testaments? The commandments of God and the testimony of Christ. And the interesting thing is the testimony of Christ is all throughout the Old Testament. Search the scriptures. In them you think you have life, but they are they that testify of me. Before Abraham was, I am. So this book is his testimony. Come on, man. Let's go a little bit further and let's deal with this. So now we see the woman has ran into this place, this wilderness that's prepared for her by God. Let me show you this place again, just so y'all ain't thinking this is a fluke. Yeah, man, you can take one verse, man, and you can say that, but you got to show me something else, bruh. Let's go to Hosea 2. And again, I had to do this because I just couldn't drop y'all in the middle of the dang on the Great Tribulation without some kind of sea legs or point of reference. And this definitely ain't milk, but I tried to take astrophysics and turn it into arithmetic. Hosea 2 verses. We're going 14 through 16. Hosea 2, 14 through 16. This is the engagement party. This is the engagement party between God and his wife, or the church. Verse 14, go ahead, bruh.
Therefore, behold, I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness and speak comfortably unto her.
That's some heavy macking going on, ain't it? Go ahead, bruh.
And I will give her vineyards from thence, and the valley of Achor for a door of hope. And she shall sing there as in the days of her youth, as in the day when she came up out of the land of Egypt.
That sound familiar? Okay, same route, same thing in the wilderness, same thing. They had to cross over to the Jordan, to the promised land, same thing. Go ahead, bruh.
And it shall be at that day, saith the Lord, that thou shalt call me Ishai, and shalt call me no more Bali.
Husband is Ishi and Bala is master, and I'm going to throw Satchel Paige in here. Satchel Paige was a picture. Let's skip down to verse 20 real quick. Satchel Paige. This ain't in the lesson. Nah, just 20.
I will even betroth thee unto me in faithfulness, and thou shalt know the Lord.
Verse 21. Watch this. Go ahead.
Excuse me. And it shall come to pass in that day, I will hear, saith the Lord. I will hear the heavens, and they shall hear the earth.
Remember he said he heard the children of Israel's cries and their afflictions? Okay. Now, I'm going to show you the wilderness again. So I'm going to beat the wilderness into your heads. There's a place you could go to where you don't got to get chewed up in the great tribulation. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to Isaiah 35. Isaiah 35. Again, we're dealing with the wilderness. Again, Jesus told you when the abomination of desolation steps in the holy place, flee. And where did he say flee to? Go to the mountains of Judea. Well, if you look around the mountains of Judea, there's a whole lot of wildernesses. So there's a specific place for the woman that's prepared of God for her. Now let me show you this place again. Or should I say not me, let the book show you this place again. Isaiah 35, let's go 1 through 7. Go ahead, bruh.
The wilderness and the solitary place shall be glad for them.
Come on.
And the desert shall rejoice and blossom as the rose.
He said the desert is going to blossom like a rose. Keep going, bruh.
It shall blossom abundantly and rejoice even with joy and singing. The glory of Lebanon shall be given into it. The excellency of Carmel and Sharon, they shall see the glory of the Lord and the excellency of our God.
The north and the south kingdoms, just so y'all know what that means. Verse 3, come on.
Strengthen ye the weak hands and confirm the feeble knees. Say to them that are of a fearful heart, be strong, fear not. Behold, your God will come with vengeance, even God with a recompense. He will come and save you.
He will come in what?
He will come and save you.
Come on, bruh.
Then the eyes of the blind shall be opened, and the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped.
Then what?
Then shall the lame man leap as an hart, and the tongue of the dumb sing. For in the wilderness shall waters break out, and streams in the desert.
For in the wilderness, streams will break out. Go ahead and read, bruh.
And the parched ground shall become a pool, and the thirsty land springs of water. In the habitation of dragons, where each lay shall be grass with reeds and rushes.
So he's talking about the wilderness is going to turn to a place that looks kind of like an oasis. Let's show you this again, because this ain't no fluke. This is all in this book, so you will know exactly when the signs happen. See, for me, I understand the book, and I understand things in like major events or tipping points. If I know there has to be a temple, then there has to be a temple. I place that there. If I know there's some sacrifice that goes on, I know it's going to take place in the temple. If I know there's a first resurrection, I know that everything has to take place before the first resurrection. So I set up these markers. Again, we're dealing with the wilderness. We're dealing with fleeing. Let's go to Isaiah 41. And I'm going to show you this wilderness again, but what I want you to pay attention this time is dissimilar vegetation. In other words, vegetation now would be someplace in the Mojave Desert that wouldn't be in the Everglades. It's going to be in this place. And it's going to be done so you'll know who did it. Isaiah 41, let's start at verse 8. Isaiah 41, verse 8. Go ahead, bruh.
But thou, Israel, art my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend.
So we know who he's talking to, right? He's talking to Israel, right? Okay, just so I'm making sure. Verse 9.
Thou whom I have taken from the ends of the earth, and called thee from the chief men thereof, and said unto thee, thou art my servant, I have chosen thee, and not cast thee away.
So everybody's saying that Israel's done away with. Stop lying on the book. Go ahead, verse 10.
Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee.
Come on.
Yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness.
Stop. Who sits at the Father's right hand? So that's the right hand of righteousness right there, who's going to personally come for you, as he said in Deuteronomy 30. Go ahead, bruh.
Verse 18.
17.
17?
Yes, sir.
When the poor and needy seek water.
Wait. When the poor and needy seek water. Go ahead, bruh.
When the poor and needy seek water, and there is none, and their tongue faileth for thirst, I, the Lord, will hear them. I, the God of Israel, will not forsake them.
What are you going to do?
I will open rivers in high places and fountains in the midst of the valleys. I will make the wilderness a pool of water and the dry land springs of water.
Come on.
I will plant in the wilderness the cedar, the shittah tree,
Come on.
and the myrtle,
Come
and
on.
the oil tree. I will set in the desert the fir tree and the pine and the box tree together.
Now, these are all trees that are completely dissimilar in completely different geographical locations, all in one place. And why did he do this? Verse 20.
That they may see and know and consider and understand together that the hand of the Lord have done this, and the Holy One of Israel have created it.
So right around the time when the abomination of desolation, when they're doing the animal sacrifice and it's winding down, all of a sudden on the news you're gonna see there's a place over in the country of Jordan that all of a sudden just bloomed out of nowhere. And they're gonna have a real, I don't know if it's gonna be a real, big reporting type of thing, but I'll put it to you like this: that right there is what's gonna happen. We're gonna see that and understand. Read verse 20 again, man. Y'all ain't hearing me. Verse 20.
That they may see.
Come on.
That they may see and know.
That's right.
And consider and understand together that the hand of the Lord have done this, and the Holy One of Israel have created it.
So it's for you to see and know and think about, then understand. Now, the man of sin begins everything. So now that we have all gotten past the abomination of desolation and what he does, now we got past the flee part. Let's actually get into the first 6 months of the Great Tribulation. Revelation 6, 1 through 2. I'm going to show you the first seal. Now you know who the first seal is. The first seal is a dude disguised as another dude playing another dude. Like that movie. Revelation 6, 2 verses, 1 and 2. I want you to pay attention to verse 2. Revelation 6, 1 and 2. Go ahead, bro.
And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were the noise of thunder, one of the 4 beasts saying, Come and see. And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him. And he went forth conquering and to conquer. I
want y'all to notice that a crown was given unto him. He didn't have a crown in and of himself. He was not worthy of it, but the crown was given unto him. And he went forth to smash on the whole world. Now let's go back to Matthew 24. And we're going to go from 12 all the way to 22. And then you are in the first year of the tribulation. Matthew 24. And hopefully y'all retained all this stuff that we went through, because it might have went a little fast. Matthew 24, 12 through 22. Come on, man. Go ahead, bro.
And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved.
Come on.
And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come.
Stop. The children of Israel are preaching this gospel to the whole entire world. Somebody needs to open the gate for my man back there. Thank you. This gospel is preached to the entire world. Verse 15. Now what do we see?
When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand.
So the abomination of desolation stands in the rebuilt temple, and he stops the animal sacrifice, and he says, I am God. Now when that happens, what you supposed to do then? Go ahead, bruh.
Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house.
Come on.
Neither let him which is in the fields return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days.
Come on.
But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day.
Now, after the woman has fled into the wilderness, Israel is in her place. Those of us that make it, Lord willing, not be one of them. Then what happens? Verse 21. Come on.
For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time. No, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
Now, we're in the first year of tribulation, actually the first 6 months, and I'll explain that in the other lesson. Tribulation lasts 1,260 days, or 42 months, or 3.5 years. The number that was given was 2,300, and that's the total time frame from the animal sacrifice to Jesus on the earth coming down. Now, that's 6.3 years. You have 2.8 years of animal sacrifice, and you have 3.5 years of tribulation. And I hope you got some understanding.